Hey, I've been on the hunt for my fourth great grandfather's parents, and this is the day I'm going to consider them found. I'm Richard Miller with Goldie May, and this is Unrehearsed Research, where I turn on the camera and do genealogy so you can follow along. Well, they've been there all along, it turns out. So we'll say that my fourth great grandfather's parents are found in the sense that I've found them among the crowd. Here's what I mean. On the family search tree, William and Susanna have been listed as Hugh's parents for as long as I've known about this. So, in a sense, they've always been there. The issue has been that when I look at their data, look at, for example, William's data on the subway map, there's a lot of zigzags, a lot of problems here. So, it's showing that he was born in England and then he has children alternating in New York and England and in Canada. So, children born all over the place in early 1800, this would be very unlikely. And so really it looks like we have multiple William Wilsons merged together. And so my Hugh that's born in New York uh, probably is not related to this William Wilson who's in England. So we've got to sort this out. And this is what I've been looking for. Well, today I'm going to unmerge these issues or fix these issues and consider them found in the sense that we're subtracting until we find the right answer. Or maybe we can take inspiration from Michelangelo, who said that he saw the angel in the stone and he took away the stone until the angel statue was revealed. So we'll do something like that today. We'll also take some inspiration from G.K. Chesterton's fence, who said that if you see a fence in a field, you don't want to take it down or remove it until you know why it was put there in the first place. And likewise, I'm not going to remove anything from this William Wilson profile that I don't know is wrong. If this were my own tree, then I could start from scratch and only add facts that are substantiated by sources. But because this is the Family Search collaborative tree, I want to tread lightly or conservatively and not remove something that could be wrong and I just don't know about it yet. So as I come into William Wilson, I'm going to look at his change log or his source, his list of changes. Now, if we come in here and scroll all the way to the bottom, as I scroll down, more items are loaded. And so as I scroll for a while, I'll get to the bottom here. And there we are. Okay, the scrolling has stopped. It says this profile was added in April 17th, 2012 by Family Search. This doesn't mean that Family Search employees vetted this or added this. It just means that the computer system added this from the previous version of the Family Search tree that predates this tree. So William Wilson and Hannah and Maria were added as a family. And if we can start to kind of scroll up and see what facts were added. So we're kind of seeing dates here. But then the first birthplace that was added is Selston, Nottingham, England. That is still the birth that's on the profile. And as we scroll up, we see, facts being added. I'm going to take direction from Catherine Grant, who says that she likes to use the original intent of a profile. So if the very first facts that were added to the tree were for a person born in England, then let's keep that in place. And whatever changes we're going to make, we'll leave that original intent in place. And that fits well with sort of logistically, that's a great way to approach it, because in this case, I have this William Wilson living in Buckinghamshire, England, and he has several children in that county. And there are fewer children born elsewhere. So logistically, it will be easier to move out the other children than the English one. So let me look at on the changelog. I also want to look at the merges that have happened here. So I'll go into filter and we'll go to merges. And here we'll see the various profiles that have been merged into the William Wilson profile. And I'm among the list of people who have merged profiles into this William Wilson. Maybe I was the one that mistakenly added the Canadian census into this English William Wilson. In any case, it may be helpful to sort out whether my original William Wilson was one of these merged people and I want to pull him back out. So I'm going to take advantage of the Family Search beta website. Instead of signing into the beta website on my Chrome browser, I'm going to open up my Firefox browser as a second browser. I've signed into the beta website here. And this is a separate username and password, if I remember correctly, from when I signed up. But the idea of the beta website is this contains a snapshot of data that you can freely edit, play with, delete, and you won't harm anything on the main website. This data comes from a snapshot every November to December around US Thanksgiving time, where they take a snapshot of the data on the main family search website, pull it over to the beta website, and there you can freely edit without harming anything on the main site. So this is a great playground or sandbox for us to try out some things and see what it looks like to do some unmerging on William Wilson. So back in the family search tree, I'm going to take the ID for William Wilson and I'll bring him over to the tree here. All right, and let's go into his profile. And I should be able to scroll down here and find changes. Now notice that the latest change on William Wilson is September 2022, whereas on the main site, the latest change is much later. And that's the snapshot idea, right? So the snapshot happened sometime after September 2022, and that's why you see the data here. I'll filter on the beta site for merges, and we'll see, several of the merges that have happened before, and maybe not all of them. It looks like there's there's a couple of 2023 merges that have happened, but the rest of them are on the beta website. So let's go into, various of these merges, and we can't unmerge a profile because after you've made changes to a merged profile, Family Search no longer knows if the change you're making applies to the left side or the right side person. So once you've made any changes, you can no longer unmerge, but we can restore. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to go into this deleted person in another tab, and it says this person was deleted by merge. There's a restore person button. I'll click this, and we want to add a reason statement to this if we were doing this on the main site, but because we're on the beta site, I'm just going to skip that part and just restore. And now we can just look for the facts that we see about this William Wilson. It looks like we have a source from England, and this is, this is Buckinghamshire, England. That seems like one that fits with the merge. And so I think in reality, or when we get to doing this on the main site, I don't want to unmerge or restore this particular William Wilson because it looks like that was a good merge. Now I'm going to go through and just do this for some of the other deleted persons. So let me just open up each of these in a different tab. And then we'll click restore. Here, this one also looks like it's from Buckinghamshire and is a good merge. It fits with the original intent of that main profile. On the next one, restore. All right, no sources on this one. Really, I don't see any facts or relationships or sources or memories. So, William Wilson could be anybody in the world. I don't see any harm in leaving him merged into our profile because we don't really have any distinct person described here by the sources. All right, next tab. This is the merge that I made that born about the same time, same spouse, similar children's names. The deleted William was said to have been born in Ireland, but this information comes from a find a grave note without any source, so I'm going to not see any evidence for it. Let me restore this one. Okay, this is looking like a distinct person. So, sources contain, this is an English birth, but then we have a find a grave record for Sharon Burying Ground. This is definitely where my family was in Ontario, Canada. And here's a record from the Sharon Temple, also where they were. Here's a record also for Ontario, Canada. May or may not be the right Wilson family, but this is definitely looking like a person from my family that's separate from the English Wilson. So, wow, I was the one that did it, right? That's sobering to see, but we learn as we go, and I've learned for myself now that William Wilson that was described by this RWZ profile really is a separate person from that English William Wilson. And so I'm going to unmerge this person on the main site and clean this up. So let me just now look at this last merge that happened 2013 and just see if that's got anything interesting. So we'll do restore person. And here we have likewise Buckinghamshire, England, and several children. These look like the children that were born in that county. Let me just come back down. Whoops, let me go back to the parent here. Okay, on this William, if I hover on the children here, yeah, these are some of the children that I believe were born in Buckinghamshire, England. So that one looks like it should stay merged. Okay, so the one profile to unmerge is the one that I merged. It's this L24M RWZ. I'll copy that ID, and then let's come back over to our main site. So now we're in production mode. We're on the main site, and we want to go find this profile. And this is the one I'm going to unmerge. So we'll say restore person, and let's go here and say, I'm talking to my past self here. On second thought, while the deleted profile was somewhat sparse, it describes a separate William Wilson living in Canada. It describes a separate William Wilson living in Canada, not the same person as the William Wilson in England. Okay, we live and we learn. I merged this too prematurely because I was matching on the time and the spouse and the children's names, but those are common names, and I wasn't looking well enough at the places where this family lived. If this has been helpful to you, please leave a comment, or subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you watching, and good luck in your research. So let's restore this. And now I recommend to you, if you're doing any unmerging, Catherine Grant's videos on YouTube about unmerging. She goes through this in detail, but she talks about how when you unmerge someone like I've just done, it restores them to the state before the merge happened. That's what we want to happen. But the other profile that this had been merged into does not have the facts removed. So let's go to now this William Wilson that we unmerged from. This will get complicated to talk about, right? And we'll go into sources, and any of the sources that appear in, let's do these on left and right side of the screen. Okay, so on the left, we have the English William Wilson. On the right, we have my Canadian Irish William Wilson. And we have the 4 sources that were part of this profile before it was merged. And on this side, we need to remove any of the sources because they're now in 2 places. So let me show you what I mean. This is William Wilson in entry for John Wilson. You see how these 2 profiles right there are the same. It doesn't automatically remove them from the left side, so I need to do that myself. And let's just see if that actually, yeah, that seems great to me. So I'm thinking of this William Wilson on the left as living in Buckinghamshire, England. And so this English record for Yorkshire doesn't really fit either one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it from both of them. All right, here's the source note I'll add. The places don't line up. The record is for Yorkshire, but this family lived in Buckinghamshire. I'll detach that record, and then I'll do it on the same. I'll do the same on the right side. This is not a good fit for this one either. This record is for Yorkshire, but this family lived in Canada. I'll put the U.S. and Canada. All right. Okay. This 1820 find a grave index is also on the left side because of the merge. I need to remove this. This record is for Canada, but this family lived in Buckinghamshire. I'll remove that. 1843 copy of the Doan family. We'll remove this. And 1860. All right, I've removed records that are on the right from the left. I am seeing a Canadian marriage on the left that probably doesn't belong there, and I'll need to move that over. But first, I want to clean up some of the facts because those are no longer accurate. For example, the name I put was William H. Wilson because the marriage record of his son Hugh says it was William Wilson, but that was describing the Canadian William Wilson. If I look at the records for our English William Wilson that we're now describing, those all say just William Wilson. So I'm going to just put William Wilson, and we'll say that the various parish records say William Wilson. Birth. We can just leave that in place, I think, for now. Burial was not in Canada. That would have been my Canadian. All right, I'll make that my reason statement. This burial fact was for a previously merged profile and doesn't apply to this William Wilson. I'll delete the burial. The death. We don't have any sources for a death for this English William Wilson, so I'm going to remove it. Okay, well, let's go through more of this and see what else we need to correct. I think this birth name will not have sources, William H. Wilson, so let's remove this. William Wilson is exactly the name that we already have in the profile, so I don't feel strongly about keeping these alternate names, which are exactly the same. So I'm going to say that this is just a duplicate name fact. Okay, let's look at the relationships. Now, these are the children of my English William Wilson. I think it's going to be helpful to look at this on the subway map. So I'll go back to the project and add the ID for the now unmerged William Wilson into the project. And then let's look at the subway map for this. Let's just do the two Williams only. And we want to start seeing this come apart in a separate profiles. Let's see if we go country by country, how that looks. That's a little better. We see our English William Wilson, then a child born in Ireland. This is the Hugh. This is the John Varnell. I need to at least move those two children over to the other William Wilson, the green one. And in fact, they're already there, but they just need to be removed from the blue profile. Same for this William Henry. Same for this Helen Reed. So it looks like all the children are in both places. So on the right, our Canadian William Wilson has the 4 children that I mentioned, as does the English William Wilson on the right. And to confirm this, you could go into Hugh Wilson. And if we scroll down, we should see that he has 2 fathers. And yeah, he does. Okay, so we want to remove them from the English family. So we'll come in here to Hugh Wilson, and we'll choose that we want to delete relationship. And I reviewed this. And we'll say that he belongs to the Canadian William Wilson family, also attached. So we'll remove him there. And then let's go into John Varnell. And then last of all, Helen Reed Wilson. All right, so we've removed the children that were in the English family, moved them. They're now only in the Canadian family. I haven't yet confirmed that these really belong to William Wilson, but here we're kind of taking that conservative approach of Chesterton's fence, that if it's more likely they belong to the Canadian family, and if someone said that they did before, then we're going to just keep that. Before my bad merged in 2020, that was the case. And so we'll restore it to that state and work from there in the future. Let me go back to the subway map and let's refresh the data. All right, now we have a really clean separate family living in Buckinghamshire, and we have the other family in Ireland and the US and Canada. That's looking a lot better. This is looking so much better. Now, let me just double check that our merged profile, the English William, doesn't have anything else that belongs elsewhere. And this is where we have to start thinking about parents too, right? So if we come into here, we have this Hugh Wilson of Ireland and Sarah Savage of Ireland. These are names I've heard in my family history, and it's Irish, like my William Wilson. So really, these are probably the parents of my William Wilson, not of this William Wilson. And let's just see if they're already on the tree. No, they're not. So I'll move these parents over to the Canadian family. All right, we've added Hugh and Sarah as the parents of William Wilson, and then I'll remove them on this side. And let me actually, before I do that, let me look at the siblings to see if that's. Yeah, they all look like they belong to the Canadian family. Okay, with the parents added on the right, I'm going to remove the English William Wilson on the left. This will come in here and say that William Wilson, and we'll say Cage. All right, how about this? William Wilson with the ID is in England. He was accidentally associated with William Wilson, other ID, who is Irish, living in U.S. and Canada, and whose parents are Hugh Wilson and Sarah Savage. That would be my reason for removing his parents. So separately, this English William Wilson's family will have to come along and do research on him and find parents, etc. But I think we've done a good job of clearing up some of the facts, the relationships. All right, still more housekeeping in this. We need to look at William's wife and see if she is in England or where is she. I'll pull up the subway map again just for some insight, and let's pull up spouse Susanna. She's all in England. On her profile page, I'm just looking for any instances of Canada or just indication that we have the wrong Susanna there. And then sources. Yes, so here's that Doan family record from the Sharon Temple. Now, as we get into these later records, it looks like several of these records belong to the Hannah Wilson of my family, and they've been attached to this profile. So it may be that we have a bad merge here as well. So I'll go ahead and just switch over to the beta site with this ID. Okay, I'm back in Firefox to keep it in a separate browser. I'll paste in the ID for Susanna/Hannah Hill, and then let's filter by merges. And let's do the same thing we did before, which is we'll open up each of these deleted persons and do a restore to see what facts come out or what the facts look like before the merge happened. Here, this Susanna Hill is in Buckinghamshire, and her sources are in England, so I'll leave that one alone. Here is my merge from 2020. 5 sources in England. So I'll leave that there as well. Those look like they're in England. I'll just leave those there for now. Here's another merge that I made. I'll restore this person. And here we have a birth in New York, death in Canada. Yeah, that looks like a merge we want to undo. And then my last of all, restore. And this is mostly in England, so I'll leave that alone. Okay, so it was another one of my bad merges that contributed to the mixing up of this profile. So let's go in here with our ID for the merged person, and we'll go back to our main Chrome browser, and we'll go into, let's pull this up. Here's our deleted person that I merged, and we're going to restore this. On second thought, okay, now we need to do the same thing we did before, which is look at the 2 Hannahs side by side and make sure we clean up those profiles as well. I have the English Susanna on the left. I have the Hannah of Canada on the right. And let's come into sources. All right, this looks similar to the cleanup we did for William Wilson, which is that Hannah has a record for Yorkshire, which doesn't seem to belong to either Hannah. And so let's go ahead and remove that. It's here on the two sides. And let's say that this belongs to a family and I'll detach it on the right. Just at first glance, the rest of these records look okay. The Sharon Temple, Canada Census, the Find Grave, this Canada, Ontario marriage record. And so I can now remove these from the left sides to not leave them attached to both places. Okay, so our English Susanna Hill seems to have all English records. Doesn't mean they're all right, but that will be a problem for another day and maybe for another family since this isn't my family. But I think we've made progress. It's cleaner than it was before. I've undone my bad merge. And if I come into the facts, I'm just looking for anything related to the Canada family or living in Canada or the US. This looks much better. Look how that cleans up the names too. I mean, we were sort of assuming before that Susanna and Hannah were close enough that it's the same person. But when you look at the Susanna profile, a lot of the names say Susan or Susanna. And then over on our Hannah profile under name, we see pretty consistently Hannah as the name. So it's nice to see that consistency fall out of having unmerged this. Let's see if there's anything else we need to worry about. Okay, let's make sure the marriages are right. So we want William Wilson and Susanna Hill, the English couple, to be married to each other. And these are the IDs from the English couple. I don't see any others there. Here are the marriages on the right side. This marriage is right, but under this couple, it's the English William Wilson married to the Canadian Hannah Vernon. So I want to replace this William with the Canadian William Wilson. Okay, yeah, this is what I want. I want to replace the William Wilson. The SWB is our English William Wilson. And I'm going to say that I've reviewed, and I'm going to replace the husband with the ID there. Oh, the relationship already exists. Okay, so this means that, yeah, sure enough, the relationship does already exist up here. Instead of replacing the father on these 6 children, I'm going to delete this relationship and then replace the father into here. So let's go into here and say, okay, how about that? This relationship's correct, but I'm going to delete it here and add it where all the children are. So we'll delete that relationship. Now we can come in and do our replace where we say replace husband. Here's the ID. All right, there's the ID. Add match. Okay, wow. Did we finish it? Let's see if there's anything else missing. Here's my Susanna Hill in England. The facts are great. The relationships look good. Sources, these all seem to be English. In memories, we have a memory about the history of the Children of the Peace. This is the Canadian religious group. And so this is not correct here. Susanna. I'm looking for where she is tagged in this document, Susanna Hill. Let's see if we can remove this. Okay, I've removed the English lady from this memory and added the correct Hannah Vernon to it. So now when I refresh, or now when I go back to Susanna's Hill, it should be really clean and separate and correct, or correct as far as we know. Yeah, that looks really good. Sources. Looks really good. Right now, let's go back to the husband, William Wilson, and look at memories. He has a similar thing going on here. We want to remove the English William Wilson from this memory. So we'll go down to William Wilson and detach. Let's check sources one more time. We do have that Canada census at the bottom. I don't need to get that moved over to the correct family. So we are looking at the ID, and it's in the URL we can find the ID that it's connected to. We want to detach it there, and we'll say this belongs to a different William Wilson. I'm going to go up here, and you can go into your address bar and hit Command or Control Enter, and that will just copy the same URL to a new tab. And now here I'm going to go into the URL and change that ID from the English William Wilson to the Canadian one. And here, let's finish attaching. It's already correctly attached to his son, but we need to attach the two parents. All right, in the back on this record. Yeah, this is correct. It's no longer attached to the English family. If we come into the list of sources now, it should be 19 sources instead of 20. All right, last of all, let me just take another look on the subway map to see what this looks like. I'll just do a reload of the data. Okay, it's saying we have our Maria Wilson and John Wilson still showing up in both families. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, so we haven't finished this work with the children here. So, all right, it's Maria Wilson and John Wilson that are in Derbyshire. And let's go in here and we'll say all right, that's looking better. We have the 4 children of William and Hannah in Canada. The 4 children are listed under William Wilson twice, one with Hannah and one without Hannah. So we really need to delete these secondary relationships. So what we'll say here is that we're going to delete, deleting the duplicate relationship to the father. So we still have Hugh up here, but we've removed him from here. And let's just do that for all 4 of the children. All right, and now with the children gone, that couple relationship drops away because it's already here, present. And so here we have the nuclear family, the father, wife, and the children. Okay, let's check out the subway map one more time to see how we're doing. Reload. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. We have the family in England. If I add spouses, I should still see these kind of distinctive family groups. So Susanna also in England, and then the other Williams spouse, Hannah, also in US and Canada. And that's looking really good. The dots represent the children, so we're seeing that all the children's births are in the right places, roughly. So I think this has come a long way. Wow, that was a lot of work, and it's because of a bad merge I did. But it feels so good to have this cleaned up. And now the hinting engines for Family Search can do the right thing by finding hints that match separately or respectively the family in England and the family in Canada. And I can go down the path of cleaning up the generations without having bad facts get in the way. If this has been helpful to you, please like, leave a comment, or subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you watching, and good luck in your research.